turn to the cannabis industry. It's been a rough year for the sector, with cannabis ETF MSOS nearly cut in half as the sector deals with regulatory headwinds. Individual cannabis companies across the board down double digits on the year. Here with his outlook for regulation under the incoming Trump administration, Tilray CEO Irwin Simon. Happy New Year, Irwin. Welcome.
Happy New Year, Sarah. Thank you.
So what do you expect this year in terms of cannabis regulation?
So, if I sit back here 4 years ago, if you had me on and where cannabis would be, I thought we'd be a much farther ahead. And that's why, with insight and looking into a crystal ball, what Tilray today, Tilray Brands, it's on a run rate to be $1 billion in size. Cannabis today is only a third of our sales. But with that, we're, the largest cannabis company in Canada in sales. We're one of the largest medical cannabis company in sales in Europe. We sell no cannabis in the U.S. And today we have a good sized beverage business in the U.S. in beer, spirits, and other beverages. So we're set, really to grow even if something didn't change with cannabis. But Sarah, step back for a second. In Canada today, where cannabis is legal from a recreational and a medical standpoint, there's over $1 billion that comes in excise tax. It's a $5 billion business at retail. So take Canada and multiply it by 10, it's a $50 billion business here in the U.S. and probably a $10 billion in excise tax, from that standpoint. And this takes a lot out of the equation in regards to the questions with cannabis. So I think it's something that the Trump administration will absolutely look at from a business standpoint, and a whole confusion on cannabis and what cannabis should be from a legalization, from a rescheduling, and from a safe bank. But, you were talking about Uber before. Look how long it took for an Uber to become, profitable. Look how long it took for a Tesla. And we're, Tilray is today, we're approaching that $1 billion mark with a strong balance sheet with over 40 brands, and we're a diversified company. Just think what happens with, Tilray. If legalization does happen with cannabis in the U.S., we're ready.
But you're saying if not, it's only a third of the business now as you've diversified into beer and other products. Do you think that investors are not understanding this? I mean, it sounds like you think they're underestimating the power of your brands and the power of your balance sheet.
100%. And I think that's the big thing today is we had the foresight to diversify the business and not wait for legalization in the U.S. But if legalization does happen, which I believe will happen during this Trump administration.
Why?
Because
what gives you Trump? Isn't Senator Thune against it, and he's going to come in here as majority leader?
Trump was supportive during the Florida vote. It didn't pass. It was 54% from a standpoint. But they're business people. They realize the opportunities from excise tax. They realize is to take cannabis at an illicit market and put it into a regulatory market and see that the tax dollars. Listen, Trump administration is looking at opportunities with tariffs and reducing taxes. Just think about it. $50 billion in taxes that could come in from legalizing cannabis and taking it out of the illicit market, what that does for the cannabis market.
So Irwin, let's talk about the positioning and what you're going to do in the meantime. Are we going to see more acquisitions, for instance, in the beverage space, which is sort of back to your roots and where you've been really focused?
So number one is continuously grow the Canadian market where it is legal from recreational and medical market. We have, 5 million square feet of grow there, innovation in regards to pre-rolls, innovation in flower, innovation in medical. We see big opportunities in Europe with a lot happening in Germany and Poland and the UK in regards to medical cannabis in those countries. And then in the U.S., we're looking at big opportunities within the beverage category. I think the beverage category is one of the biggest categories out there. Not only do we have beer, and our whole thing is how do we make beer cool again, is going into drinks, not out. January is dry, dry January. So the opportunities there, energy drinks, and our spirits businesses. And listen, I love the wellness business, and stay tuned. It's something that we'd love to do with our wellness business and, jump into that category. So with our balance sheet, with our brands, with our infrastructure, just think about it today. We have 10 manufacturing facilities that do all kinds of beverages. We have grow facilities. We have 700 distributors out there distributing our products. We have an infrastructure of sales marketing people. So the infrastructure is there. And you're right, the acquisition opportunities for us is tremendous out there with our balance sheet.
Hey, Irwin, it's David. Just been listening to you. You trying to recreate the own Hain Celestial? I mean, what's the plan here?
Well, I think it's the new Hain Celestial, David. When I started Hain in 1993, no one knew what, organic food was and wellness is. I think the beverage category and the Coca-Colas and the Pepsis of the world, the ABIs and the Molsons is how do we make beer and beverages cool again? And what is the innovation out there? And what is the innovation in regards to non-alc drinks? And, it looked like when you're having a non-alc drink, you're drinking something fun. What's happening in the spirits world? So that is what I'm trying to do, and also to bring in the whole wellness part of it. And if you think about it, alcohol industry drinking is down because the cannabis industry is cannibalizing that. David, if I could sell THC-infused drinks in the U.S. today, it is $1 billion market out there for that opportunity. So, with the infrastructure in place, you're right. How do we recreate a whole new industry out there within beverages, within wellness, and ultimately, if cannabis legalized, the opportunity's there.
Irwin, thank you for sharing the playbook with us. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you very much for having me.